Hello and welcome back to another Minute in the Clouds with Greg. This is day 22 and changing gears, I'm going to talk a little bit about depression. This one's titled A Comprehensive Guide to Depression Part 1, and there'll be other parts to this. And what kinds of depression are there? Well, first of all, welcome to this comprehensive guide to depression. We'll delve a bit deeper into the intricate aspects of mental health, and this will be an article on the website as well. So if you're personally experiencing major depression, or if you're seeking information for a loved one, I hope that you'll get some information that's useful. And by exploring causes, symptoms, and available treatments, hopefully you'll gain a comprehensive understanding of this complex disorder. My aim is to empower you to have the tools and the resources necessary to navigate the challenges that come with major depression, which I'll be talking about later. But this is a mile-high overview of depression in general. First of all, welcome to day 22. And if you enjoy these videos and articles, consider subscribing to the channel and the newsletter on the website. Leave a comment with any feedback on how I can improve these videos or any content that you'd like to see, and I'll do my best to make that happen. So again, we'll look at some of the many faces of depression. This is just an overview, so please note any information I give you is not intended as a diagnosis or substitute for medical advice. Any medical advice, including psychiatric and mental health, you recommended that you go to a trained medical professional. So let's dig in. Are there different types of depression? Yes, there are. There's various forms of depression, and it's not a one-size-fits-all condition. It can manifest itself in different ways and affect people differently. Some common types of depression that you'll hear are major depression, or also known as clinical depression, very severe form of depression where people experience persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and lack of interest in activities. Major depression, again, also known as clinical depression, and it's highly debilitating, and it's characterized by very profound feelings of sadness, hopelessness, a significant loss of interest in things that you enjoyed doing once upon a time. And when you suffer from major depression, it's very challenging to engage in daily tasks. And I can attest to that myself. I've suffered major depression, clinical depression, for many years, and may even cause people to contemplate to commit suicide. And I'll talk about that in other videos. But that is something that I have attempted myself, and I'll talk about that at a different time. Major depression really can affect your well-being. It can affect physical health, performance at work, social interactions or lack thereof, and is vital for anyone who's experiencing those kind of symptoms to get some help. There is help available. And then there's another one called dysthymia, or persistent depressive disorder. Technically, it's not really used. It's a subset of conditions now in the DSM, but it's still known as a chronic form of depression where the symptoms last for at least 2 years, though they may not be as severe as in major depression. Dysthymia is a type of depression that's characterized by its chronic nature, and unlike major depression, the symptoms of dysthymia persist for at least 2 years. The severity of those symptoms can vary from person to person, and the prolonged duration of dysthymia can make it really challenging for people to function. And then there's manic depression or bipolar depression. As a mental illness causes extreme mood swings in manic depression, or bipolar, as the correct term is now. And people with that can swing between high energy, mania or euphoric type functions and very deep dark depression. A manic depression or a bipolar depression is not funny, and it's very akin to clinical depression, and the fact that it can go so deep, it's not even funny. And it manifests through intense fluctuating mood swings, and you be high 1 minute and low the next. You can have high energy levels 1 minute and very euphoric, and then the next minute you're bottomed out, you're 6 feet under. And those dramatic shifts can be very overwhelming and disrupt people's lives. But with proper help, people can get some relief from that. There's a lot of treatments available now that weren't just a few years ago. And then there's another form of depression, is postpartum depression or peripartum depression. That's a type of depression that can occur after childbirth, causing feelings of sadness. And it's not just feeling blues, anxiety and sadness. And it's a common condition that affects some women after giving birth. A range of symptoms with that: intense sadness, exhausted, anxiety, and that type of depression can manifest in various ways, and how severe that is can vary from person to person. It is important to note that postpartum depression, it doesn't reflect a woman's ability to be a mother to her child. With the proper treatment, women can recover from postpartum depression and regain their emotional well-being. It's very crucial that if you are experiencing that, get some help. There's no shame in that. Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, that's a depression that occurs at specific times of the year. Oftentimes it's during winter, and it's connected to reduced sunlight exposure. And the cell lamps, you might have noticed there's a kind of a bright light to my right. I've got one of those therapy lamps which emulates the sun lamp. But anyway, SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, particularly in the winter months, can be quite debilitating, and it's closely tied to not getting enough sunlight, and I certainly don't. The decrease in the daylight hours during the winter can really do a number on the body's internal clock and the circadian rhythm and the natural flow of things, and that can lead to a variety of symptoms. Your mood can be low, lose interest in things that you like to do. You're no longer interested in them anymore, and there can be some mood swings. Sleep patterns can change. Again, this is just a mile-high overview. So the exact cause of seasonal affective disorder is not fully understood, but it is believed to be linked to the sunlight. It's important to note that seasonal affective disorder is a real medical condition and can cause a significant impact on someone's quality of life. So seeking the appropriate treatment and support is essential for managing that, and it's absolutely real. It's not imagined. So if you have heard that it's not really a depression, you've heard wrong. Sorry. And then you've got psychotic depression, a severe form of depression that's accompanied by psychotic symptoms such as delusions or hallucinations. Psychotic depression is highly debilitating mental disorder, and that's characterized by intense, overwhelming sense of sadness, despair, and hopelessness. And that condition goes beyond the typical symptoms of depression, and it also involves the presence of the psychotic features. And these features manifest, as I said, with delusions, hallucinations, seeing things, auditory hallucinations, hearing things that are not there, and very deeply disturbing. And the psychotic depression, it often involves false beliefs about people, firmly held beliefs despite evidence that go to the contrary. And those delusions tack on different themes such as feelings of guilt, worthlessness, even paranoia. People are out to get you, stuff like that. Your hallucinations, on the other hand, they can be sensory experience, and they can occur without any stimulus causing them. And in the case of psychotic depression, hallucinations most commonly are auditory, hearing things, where you hear voices that are not real. And hopefully you can hear me a bit better now. I just realized how noisy my air conditioner was when it went off. Anyway, Living with psychotic depression can be very challenging, and it can affect the person's emotional well-being and cognitive functioning. And the presence of the psychotic symptoms can further complicate daily life, making it really difficult to differentiate between what's real and what's imagined, what's true, what's false. Relationships and social interactions suffer as a result, and then the person ends up feeling very isolated and misunderstood due to their experiences, don't understand what's going on. And treatment for psychotic depression usually involves a combination of psychotherapy and medicine. Antidepressants such as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, the SSRIs, you've heard of those. They can sometimes alleviate symptoms on the depressive type symptoms, and then antipsychotic medications are prescribed to target specific psychotic symptoms. Psychotherapy such as CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. There's a big difference. That can be really useful and help people identify and challenge negative thought patterns that they might have, and help develop some coping strategies. It's important for anyone that's got psychotic depression to seek professional help. There is support available from medical practitioners. With the right treatment in place, can make a big difference. And then there's premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD, a severe form of premenstrual syndrome, and it's characterized by significant mood disturbances, physical symptoms as well. And PMDD is debilitating. It's a condition that affects women during the menstrual cycle, and it's a severe form of PMS, premenstrual syndrome, characterized by significant mood disturbances and physical symptoms, and it can have a profound impact on a woman's quality of life, causing intense feelings of sadness. There can be some irritability, anxiety, and in addition to the emotional symptoms, physical symptoms can manifest as well. Bloating, tenderness in the breast, incredible fatigue, and that disorder can be extremely challenging to manage, and it puts quite a disruption on if a lady's suffering that on her life, and relationships with people can become affected. With the right support and understanding, women with PMDD can find ways to help alleviate the symptoms and improve their well-being. And then you've got atypical depression. It's a subtype of major depression, and that's characterized by specific symptoms like increased appetite or sleeping too much. Atypical depression, also sometimes known as melancholic, I can't even say it now, but you know what I'm trying to say. Melancholic depression is a distinct subtype of major depression, and that's characterized by its own unique set of symptoms. And people who experience this form of depression often display atypical features such as appetite increase, weight gain, being incredibly sleepy, excessively sleepy, a feeling of heaviness in the limbs. Those symptoms make it differentiate that from other forms of depression, where individuals might experience a decreased appetite typically, or difficulty sleeping. It's important to note that atypical depression does share similarities with other forms of depression, but it has its own distinct set of symptoms in the DSM, and they require specific attention and treatment to its specific characteristics. And understanding this unique characteristics of it can really, help medical professionals find a treatment that will be successful or have a good chance of being successful. And then the situational depression or reactive depression adjustment disorder, and that's temporary depression that's triggered by a specific life event or a situation, and often resolving once the situation has changed, and it can be for any kind of situation. Situational depression, as I said, also known as reactive depression or adjustment disorder, and it's a type of temporary depression, and usually in response to a life event, a death of a loved one, something wrong with the apartment, and it's situational. But the characteristics of it are sadness, hopelessness, lack of motivation. But it's important to note that the situational depression will typically resolve itself once whatever's triggered the episode is once that is passed. Usually it'll work itself out, and that means that people experiencing that type of depression, there's some comfort in knowing that the feelings are not permanent. So by understanding the temporary nature of that type of depression and seeking support from people, loved ones, mental health professionals, you can navigate through that challenging period and emerge stronger on the other side. So it might feel overwhelming in the moment that you're in it, but it's important to remember that there's light at the end of the tunnel. It'll get better. And then there's disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, DMDD. That's a childhood condition of extreme irritability and anger, frequent intense temper outbursts, disruptive mood dysregulation. Dysregulation disorder. It's a neurodevelopmental disorder that primarily affects children, and it's characterized, as I said, by extreme irritability, anger, very intense temper outbursts, and they're often disproportionate to the situation, and can be triggered by seemingly, something very minor frustration. Someone maybe takes the pencil, and the reaction is, as if they really kind of, try to stab you with it, and the reaction is very disproportionate to what actually happened. Children with MDD often have difficulty regulating their emotions, and that can lead to significantly impairing daily life for the child and the parents and family. The symptoms of DMDD, they typically begin before the age of 10, but they can persist into into adolescence and sometimes into adulthood as well. And children with DMDD, they might exhibit chronic irritability type behavior, excessive frequent mood swings. They might have trouble managing anger, and they might express anger through verbal or even physical aggression. And those temper outbursts can be very disruptive to home life, relationships at home and in school. DMDD is a relatively new diagnosis. Was first diagnosed in the DSM manual in 2013. Prior to its recognition, DMDD, children who displayed severe irritability and temper outbursts, they were often misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder or oppositional defiant disorder, but it is different. DMDD is distinct from those disorders, and it requires a different treatment approach to it. Treatment for DMDD typically involves a combination of therapy and medication. Cognitive behavioral therapy can help children learn to cope, give them strategies at learning new skills, regulate emotions a little bit better, and things like that. And medications such as antidepressants or sometimes mood stabilizers, and may also be prescribed and can help manage the symptoms of DMDD. It's important for parents and caregivers to seek help. If you think that your child might have DMDD, early intervention and appropriate treatment can greatly improve the quality of life for you and your child, and for your child's overall functioning at home and in school. So with that said, it's crucial to keep in mind, I'm going to put some websites on my website, gregscloud.com. I'm going to put some links to some websites where you can get more information about the types of depression I've mentioned, and we will explore depression further in different videos, and maybe I'll get into specific types of depression. So with those websites, it's crucial to keep in mind that they're just informational, and you should seek medical advice. If you or someone that you know is experiencing any mental health difficulties, please seek help. Please reach out. It's help available. You can call 911. You can call 988 if you're in the US, and there's certainly resources. In future videos, I'll put some websites, like there's one called 7 Cups, and there's your My Daily Strength, My Daily Strength, or Your Daily Strength. There's some websites that I've used in the past, and there's they have warm lines that you can call. What a warm line is, it's not a suicide line or something like that, but you can call the national suicide number. You don't have to be suicidal to call that. If you need someone to talk to, you can say when they pick up, look, I'm not suicidal, but I really need to talk to somebody right now. The most important thing is please reach out. Please reach out. And I know that the phone can weigh 500 pounds when you're depressed, but please reach out. If you need any resources before I actually cover those, let me know in the comments, and I'll figure a way to contact you and make sure you get some resources. So again, consult with a healthcare professional for any advice. I hope that you enjoyed today's content. Again, if you're new here, I'm glad that you stopped by. It's not easy creating when you've got several health challenges. So let me know your feedback, what you liked, what you didn't like, what I can do better, what you'd like me to talk about, and we'll talk about other more in-depth depression and specific types of depression. What am I thankful for today? Today, I'm thankful for my apartment. I've got a place to live. Some people do not. It might not be the Ritz, but it's a shelter. Many people don't even have that. What are you grateful for today? Let me know in the comments what you're grateful for today. Again, with any content or topics that you like me to discuss. And as always, thank you for watching. I love you all, and I hope that you enjoyed today's content. And as always, don't forget, take care of your mind, okay? Love you guys. Bye.